It's become a common trend for me to find my own struggles reflected in works of fiction. They give me a way to look at my hardships objectively and understand that while they may seem insurmountable now, that they're ultimately just another chapter in the story of life, an obstacle to overcome before moving on to something greater. Throughout my life, there's been one IP that's been a constant source of guidance, shaping my moral compass and influencing how I face adversity: Spider-Man. From a young age, Peter Parker's story really resonated with me. In a world that made me feel like an outsider, his journey made me really feel seen. The biggest lesson Spider-Man taught me was to choose kindness. No matter how much the world knocks you down, you have to be the bigger person and strive to be the best version of yourself every day. That idea of always getting back up, no matter how many times you're hit, is the heart of the film we're discussing today, Into the Spiderverse. In this movie, Miles is just a normal teenager with his own struggles and worries. His life changes forever when he's bit by a radioactive spider and witnesses the death of his universe's Peter Parker. Before dying, Peter entrusts Miles with a mission: stop the Kingpin and destroy the Collider. But there's a problem. Miles doesn't know how to be Spider-Man. And this is where his journey truly begins. With no mentor to guide him, Miles must figure out how to use his newfound powers while carrying the weight of saving New York on his own. That is, until he meets a group of alternate universe spider people who are pulled into his dimension by the Kingpin's Collider. The first and most important of Miles' growth is Peter B. Parker. This version of Peter is a broken man, a Spider-Man that lost his way after his life fell apart. He let go of his ambitions, separated from MJ, and became a shell of his former self. When he meets Miles, Peter B's only goal is to return to his universe. He doesn't care what happens to Miles or his world, but over time, Miles' determination wears on him. Slowly, Peter begins to see Miles' untapped potential, and in the process, he rediscovers a part of himself he thought he had lost. As Miles meets the other Spider people, they all begin to question whether he's truly capable of taking on the mantle of Spider-Man. And Miles starts to doubt himself too. Can he really live up to all that responsibility? The doubt only deepens when he learns that his beloved Uncle Aaron is actually the Prowler, one of Kingpin's enforcers who was involved in Spider-Man's death. When Aaron is ultimately killed by the Kingpin, Miles blames himself, wondering if there was something more he could have done to save him. This is Miles' Uncle Ben moment, the realization that with great power truly comes great responsibility. It's the moment he fully understands the weight of being Spider-Man and the harsh truth that no matter how hard he tries, he won't be able to save everyone. In his grief and self-doubt, the other Spider people decide that Miles isn't ready to fight Kingpin. He's too inexperienced, too emotionally vulnerable. This only frustrates him further. He wants justice. But Peter insists that if Miles doesn't get control of his powers, he'll only get himself killed. Feeling helpless, Miles asks Peter how he'll know when he's ready. Peter responds with one of the most iconic lines of the film: "You won't. It's a leap of faith. That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith." That moment hit me hard. Throughout the entire movie, Miles struggles with measuring himself up against the other Spider people, instead of embracing his own unique path, and I relate to that deeply. I've always struggled with social anxiety and feeling comfortable in my own skin. I compare my social skills to those around me, diminishing my own worth and focusing on my insecurities instead of embracing what makes me me. I've spent so much of my life trying to be what I thought others wanted me to be instead of just allowing myself to exist as I am. The place Miles reaches in this moment feels eerily similar to where I'm at in my life right now. I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something unknown, ready to take that leap of faith. I don't know for sure if I'll be successful. I don't even know if I'm ready. But like Miles, I know I have to take that leap. I have to step outside of my comfort zone, not for anyone else, but for me. And that's what makes Miles' story so impactful. Even when he does take that leap of faith, he's still uncertain. His hand sticks to the glass just like it has throughout the movie whenever he's nervous, because fear doesn't just disappear. The uncertainty never truly goes away. But you jump anyway. You have to believe in yourself and your ability to be okay no matter how that leap goes. The hardest part is just taking that leap, and eventually everything will fall into place after that. And the thing is, that leap of faith wasn't the end of Miles' journey. It was the beginning of him finally trusting himself. He didn't stop being afraid after he jumped. The fear was still there, but he no longer let it paralyze him. He let it move with him. And in my own life, taking that leap of faith looked like finally having the courage to talk to somebody that I felt an unexplainable connection with. For months I stayed silent, trapped behind layers of anxiety, fear of rejection, and a voice in my head that just said I wasn't good enough, that she'd never see me, that I'd mess it up. But beneath all that fear, there was a quiet, persistent feeling that maybe, just maybe, there was something real between us. And when I finally stepped forward, awkwardly, nervously, and imperfectly, I didn't just break a cycle of self-doubt. I cracked open the door to something meaningful. Because from the moment we began talking, it became very clear that this wasn't just a one-sided fantasy. There was resonance, like two frequencies locking in. Our connection felt layered, electric, and real in a way that caught me completely off guard. The kind that makes you reevaluate everything you thought about yourself and what you were capable of feeling. And no, the fear didn't vanish. In fact, it probably deepened in some ways. Because the more I cared, the more I stood to lose. But the fear was no longer in control, because the connection itself gave me something to believe in. Not just a belief in the outcome, but belief in the moment, in the bond we had built. Day by day, word by word, glance by glance. It wasn't perfect. Life complicated things, her situation was complicated, but amidst all of that, something in me changed. I stopped waiting to feel ready and I started allowing myself to be present, to trust that the version of me standing there, anxious, flawed, and honest, was enough. And in that space, we grew something. Maybe undefined, maybe not spoken aloud in its full truth yet, but undeniably real. That's the beauty of a leap of faith. It's not about proving anything to others. It's about showing up fully when your voice shakes. It's about being brave enough to risk connection to say, this is me, I don't have all the answers, but I'm here and I care. Like Miles, I had to let go of the pressure to be perfect, or to have a flawless plan. I just had to jump, with my heart open and not knowing how I'd land. And the truth is, I'm still midair. Still figuring it all out, still scared, but I'm no longer frozen. Because that one act, that one quiet, trembling leap of faith reminded me of something I forgot. I am capable of connection. I am worthy of being seen. And even if the road ahead is uncertain, I have faith, not only in myself, but in the truth of what we built. And sometimes, that's enough to keep going.